Hello, everyone. Dan Casper here. It's been a little bit. I apologize for the delay, but I wanted to give you some overall feedback on lessons 6 and 7. So 6, it seems like everyone really took to this lesson really well. This is one of my favorite lessons. This is the one that we went over consumption and materialism. I like it because it really kind of makes a little more obvious some of the ways that advertisers try to trick you into buying things and like this treadmill. And hopefully you all have a good sense of what this treadmill consumption is. Basically it's defined as moving ahead materially. So like getting more stuff, getting more money, having more things, but not feeling like you've actually moved ahead. And that's the treadmill. You always feel like no matter what, there's always more to consume. There's always something better out there. Like you buy a new car and then all of a sudden there's a new model. You buy a new iPhone and there's a new model that comes out and so on and so on. And it never ends. You can never catch up because companies know this and they keep producing these new goods that are maybe they're a little better, maybe not even better, but they're new. And that's all that matters. And that's the treadmill of consumption. So you can never, ever, ever fully keep up because there's always new coming out. And also, there's always someone ahead of you on the treadmill or on the economic ladder. So I just think that, and then you add greenwashing, which is something that's sadly very common. You have to be really careful what advertisers are telling you. There's so much more information in this regard. I'd be happy to point you into some more resources, but this is a huge part of our problem today is that we have these advertising agencies that just they're really good at convincing people to buy things that they don't need to buy. And that's kind of what it boils down to. That's where they make their money. So I just wanted to go over a couple of quick things just to make sure you're all clear on this. There were some issues with this in your answers. So number one, one of the key aspects of the treadmill of consumption is keeping up with the Joneses, so to speak. And remember that all that is that you, and this is either conscious or unconsciously, you're trying to keep up with other people in society. So you just sort of, it's not necessarily your neighbors or your friends, although that could be part of it. It's just like society as a whole. Like you're sort of aware, what's cool and what's new and what's fashionable, whatever. You're just aware of that. And so you see other people in general that have these things that you don't, and then you try to keep up with them. Some of it is like, wow, my neighbor has a nice new car. I really want a new car. It could be conscious like that. Or it's just you sort of see advertisements for new cars all over the place, and then just eventually you think like, well, maybe I need a new car. But not consciously like I saw this and I need that. It's just like I think mine's old and I need a new one, right? So that's keeping up with the Joneses is both conscious and subconscious. And the positional economy. So just to be clear on what that means, the positional economy just refers to the fact that you understand generally where you exist on the sort of social and economic scale in society. So it's just a matter of awareness, really. Like the fact that you're aware of sort of your standing and where that is relative to other people. Now, some people don't fall prey to the positional economy, and they don't care what other people are doing, and they don't care to know what's the standards are in society. They just do what they do, and that's great, and that's a really good way to get off the treadmill, actually. But anyway, the positional economy is just your awareness of those, like sort of where you are on the economic and social ladder. Another thing, just to be clear on equity, in terms of equity impacts of anything. So for something to be inequitable, there has to be disproportionate impacts on one group of people relative to others. So, for example, with consumption and materialism, if everybody's impacted by this consumeristic impulse or this materialistic impulse, if they're all, whether you're wealthy or not, if you're still affected by that, then that's not necessarily an equity problem. If you're rich, poor, middle class, in between, whatever, if it affects you the same, then that's not inequitable. However, if something is more like, I think there's certainly an argument to be made that consumption and materialism are inequitable because you have low-income folks that really can't afford the sort of better, more expensive goods, and yet they're striving to achieve that, and it's harder for them to do it, and they possibly end up spending more of their a higher percentage of their income on trying to achieve these this sort of material standard, then that would be considered inequitable because low-income folks or whoever are more impacted than others. So just to be clear, whenever for it to be an equity impact, it has to sort of have different impacts to different demographics. That's the main feedback for lesson 6. So hopefully after reading that, you're more aware, dare I say, more skeptical of advertisements and things that you see. Marketers are paid for a reason, and that's just to sell you stuff. That's it. It's not to make the world a better place. It's not to sell the right thing. It's to sell you the product that they're selling. This is not to say that all marketers are just like evil, manipulators, but that's what they do. I mean, they are paid to sell you products, and that does, you don't always get what you think you're getting, and they know how to take advantage of people's insecurities and unhappiness and this like feeling of keeping up with the Joneses and so forth. So just hopefully you're more conscious of that. And of course all the environmental impacts that result from that with this overconsumption, the extra waste and the extra production, the pollution from the production, the shipping, the plastic, all that stuff. That's all part of this consumer culture. Okay, so I'll leave it at that, and hopefully that's helpful.